This is Smart Mado Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now, Our Global Matters Arising on ONN. Yes, welcome to a new week, and I'm hoping that this week is going to be good. So, hop in and invite your friends, associates, well wishers, family members, as we talk about once again something very pressing about Nigeria. Nigeria became independent in 1960, October 1. Yeah, this month. Greek gift of independence. So, if as you are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, I would want you guys to bring some more people in so we can have a very serious conversation. I pledge to do the best I can and to be just as always. You know, we are in the business of speaking the truth. And then when you speak the truth, you step on some people's toes, those who have benefited and don't want others to benefit, and they don't want others to know the truth. They oppress people, and it is okay by them. But on the other side of the equation, people are suffering and living in pains in a country that is supposed to be one for all of us, and with a lot of things inside it for everybody to enjoy. Nigeria is not supposed to be a poor country. No Nigerian is supposed to be poor. And no Nigerian is supposed to be crossing the dangerous Mediterranean to go to anywhere. No Nigerian is supposed to be in India where they are punished, they are treated like nobody. No Nigerian is supposed to be in Italy where they are locked up in the concentration camp, or in Germany where they are being chased up and down and being asked to leave. Ghana, Ghana is our brother, but sadly, they behave some kind of way that makes us feel like we are not that African. But thankfully, we hold tight on to the message of um, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, a frontline African Pan-Africanist, who said at independence that the independence of Ghana meant nothing or will mean nothing until and unless the whole of Africa was liberated. But sometimes, you see some vestiges of people who don't understand how they came about. When they have opportunities, they will just lash out. The same thing happens to Nigerians in South Africa and all that. But we are determined to not be angry because that's what the imperial forces want. So we will continue to be at each other's throat and they will continue to have their way. We are the moderates, we know the history, we are going to overcome. Yes. But Africa will not overcome unless Nigeria and the people of Nigeria unite. And that is what it is. And the unification of Nigeria is internal. It has to be two things. The Igbos of Nigeria must be set free. The Hausa people in Nigeria who have been in subjugation, under subjugation, Fulani subjugation for 221 years, must be set free. If we don't set these two groups free, very strategic groups of Africans, if we don't set them free, the talk about African unity will be a pipe dream. Yes. You know, the population of the Hausa people in the whole of Africa is huge. There's nowhere they are not. In Cameroon, you have the Hausas. In Nigeria, you have them in Quantum. In Sudan, they are there. All right? In Burkina Faso, they are there. In Nigeria, they are there. In Mali, they are there. You find them everywhere, the Hausa people I mean. It's about one of the largest population in Africa. But inside Nigeria, they are suffering. And majority of us did not even know until very recently. Because those who hijacked them took their language and started speaking their language. They mimic, they act like they are Hausa people. Why they are slamming the Hausa people? I'm talking about the Fulani elites. Yes, Fulani elites. They were the ones who plunged our country into a needless bloodshed 6 years after independence. Very manipulative. Very, very manipulative. A small minority group the elite from some small minority group holding the whole of Nigeria hostage. And the whole of Nigeria went to sleep. They found some allies somewhere with whom they will connive to destroy Nigeria and set the country back. Now we are saying no, and we are saying an end to it. Yes. If you know the history of Nigeria, 6 years after, these people manipulated something. A crisis started from the southwest of Nigeria. Massive wanton destruction of lives and property because they wanted to continue the legacy of Osman Dan Fodio, who told them when he was dying that they must carry his jihad until they dropped the Quran in the last town in the sea of the last town, perhaps in the Niger Delta. They are quiet. Nigerians are quiet, have been quiet. Some people have been benefiting from this criminality, and the majority of our people are suffering. Now we are saying no. An end has come. So if you are joining us for the first time, following me on TikTok for the first time, please follow me very well. You would have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. The truth about Nigeria, the truth about Africa, and the truth about what happened to Africa. 5 major events: slavery, colonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and now globalization. A continent that has the highest amount, the highest deposit of mineral and natural resources. 45% of the Earth's resources reside in Africa, but 90% of its 1.5 billion people live below poverty line. Can you look at that equation? Does it balance? And then why has it been like that? Because internally the African people are at war, have been at war with themselves, instigated by imperial forces. Now we are in this generation, 21st century. Isn't it time the African people came together to actualize the vision of our founding fathers, led by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Emperor Haile Selassie, Dr. Nandi Azikiwe, Modibo Keita, Sekou Toure, yes, Abdel Nasser, yes, and later, Samora Machel, Thomas Sankara, Nelson Mandela, Robert Mugabe, and the rest of them. We have been singing this song, African Unity, African Unity. But I'm telling you, here as a Nigerian, with the massive population of over 250 million people, yes, two strategic group of people inside our country live under apartheid. And by extension, the whole country is suffering. So Nigerians are suffering. You don't see them. When you see them anywhere where they are, they didn't leave their country because they are hungry. They left because the access to opportunity in that country has been hijacked and put in the hands of a miniature minority from a minority group inside Nigeria. And that is what we must dismantle now. And then to dismantle it, we have to dismantle the infrastructure holding the Hausa people in captivity in the north of Nigeria. We must dismantle the infrastructure that created this Igbophobia that makes Nigerians from across Nigeria hate the Igbos for no just cause. We want the hardest working ethnic group in Nigeria. Take it or leave it. You can't throw it away. These are the people who will start something from nothing, build something out of nothing. You want to destroy them. It's not possible. Nigeria will not go to peace until the Igbos are set free. And it is our duty as Nigerians, not because you are Yoruba, you are an Hausa, you are this. It's the duty of every Nigerian and all Nigerians to unite to set these people free. Set the Hausa people free. Set the Igbos free. So we can build a country that will be so beautiful. A country that will be so beautiful as the United States, if not even more beautiful as United Arab Emirates, as beautiful and even better than Kuwait and Saudi Arabia put together. Yes, we can make it happen. We have everything. We have everything to make it happen. We must not limit ourselves. We must take that bold step as citizens of one country. We must take that bold step now. Yes, we must take that bold step. Edu, how are you? Thank you very much. Ale Phillips, thank you for joining from YouTube. Yes, TikTok. Thank you very much for all of you who have joined. So we are talking about today. We're asking a question. Yes, I'm going to have to run you through what happened so that you have a clearer understanding. So when they started that trouble in the southwest of Nigeria, young military officers, young Nigerian military officers, some of them just returned from peacekeeping operation in Congo. And then they came back to a country that was boiling, on fire. What did you expect them to do? They came together. Some, you know, if you're in the army, you're in the military, you are planning a coup. It's not a democracy. You have to get people you trust to carry out a coup because coup plotting will lead you to jail. It's a treasonous act by military code. All right. So these young men came together, young, boiling young majors. They came together to say, we will not allow this to continue to happen in our country. We love this country. We don't want to see this country destroyed. They came together, looked at the trouble. There was no trouble in the north of Nigeria. There was no trouble in the south, in the east of Nigeria. The trouble was in the west. Yes, in the west of Nigeria, or where they call southwest Nigeria today. That's where the trouble started from. And it was between Akintola and Awolowo. And there was somebody masterminding Akintola. That was Madu Bello, the grandson of Usman Fodio, the man who brought his jihad into Africa. Yes, into West Africa, into Nigeria. What became Nigeria? That's West Africa. They used to call those areas Sudan. Yes, he was the one who came from the Fouta Djallon. Fouta Djallon is located around the Guinea-Senegal area. That was where he carried his trouble into Nigeria, violence. So that's what we call terrorism of today. He came and sacked the Hausa kingdom, destroyed their kings, killed their kings, or unalive them. On Facebook, they say they don't like to hear kill. All right? Yes. They took over everything. It's just the same thing they are doing. The same ideology, the same methodology. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. They came, sacked the entire Hausa race, took over their kingdoms, installed their own kings, started their own kingship. That is why you hear Sultan of Sokoto. Sultan of Sokoto is not a king. It's not an African king. That is not their land. They are invaders, and they should be recognized as such. They invaded, seized all Hausa land, installed emirs. They pushed their jihad down to Ilorin in today's Kwara state. They destroyed King Afonja. Yes, they tricked him the way they tricked the Hausa people, and then told him that their own type of Islam was better than what they are practicing already. From there, you don't allow them close to you. They will seize you. They tricked Afonja and seized the Ilorin from him. That's why you have Emir in Ilorin today. Ilorin is the Yoruba land. Yes, they conquered that place, seized it from them. The same way they did to the people in a Hausa land. Yes, the Baron people fought down to a standstill, and that place that is a meadow bed in the plateau area, and that is why they have been working on that place every time, even till now. They are still killing and attacking the people. They want that land so badly. Land grabbers is what they are, and they hate the Igbos with passion. Because the only saving grace that is still holding Nigeria together is the Igbos. The Igbos are warriors. They will not seize their land to you. They will fight. They have been fighting. They fought the colonial masters like nobody fought them in Nigeria. They fought them like hell. Those who were taken into captivity in slavery. If you remember what happened in Savannah, Georgia, about some of the last ships that arrived, because this very high self-esteem. You call them they are proud. Yes, they are. So what? They are proud. They are African warriors. Those they brought to Savannah to bring them here into slavery in the United States, all of them committed mass suicide. That was bad business for the slave owners. Can you imagine 200 people in a ship all found a way to commit suicide? They all died. Yes, that's how proud the Igbo man is. But in recent time, I've seen something happened. Since after the genocide against the Igbos, where they perished over 6 million of them in Nigeria, something happened. The Igbo man became weak. They became there's this siege mentality because the trauma of being destroyed. They destroyed millions of children. And Imperial Europe was the mastermind behind the Fulani minority that instigated the crisis in the hell Nigeria has become. And it might interest you to know that 10 out of Nigeria's 13 heads of states were either directly Fulanis or remotely, indirectly. It has something to do with them. I don't hate Fulanis, but I hate that some of them, a good number of them, who know the truth, they are not coming out to speak out against what their elites are doing to Nigeria. They took time to destroy the entire country. Yes. Yes. They took time to destroy the entire country. They created a genocide that we did not need. For no need. They wasted so many human lives, 6 million, when it was over. So now, that impacted the organic Igbo unity that we used to know. Now, the Igbo people now are struggling for survival. Their elites become ass leakers. They are more protective of their own little space when they are appointed into political office. Not that because they don't even have, no Igbo man can rise so high in the Nigerian armed forces. Yes. And whenever they get to a height, they never last long there. They cut them off because they don't trust them. Yes. We love them. We must do something as Nigerians. As Nigerians. They said the war was over, or the genocide was over. They declared 3 R's: reconciliation, reintegration, and reconstruction. None of that was done. None. Absolutely none was done. So now let me not bore you about that. So I'm giving you a little bit of background information about what we are going to be talking about. So right now, there's a siege mentality. They don't trust the Igbos. Since after the massacre, no Igbo man has been able to become president of Nigeria. It's not like they are the most qualified people. Yes, the Yorubas have been president of Nigeria. They failed the country as leaders. The Fulanis have been there 10 times. They failed the country. They destroyed the country. But there are people who are business minded. I don't think anything an Igbo man puts his hand. He doesn't want to fail. He wants to make a difference. So they don't want that difference to be made because they know they'll be put to shame about the fraud that they have been committing against the people of Nigeria. Yes, the Fulani elites. So that is why they build obstacles. And they have been using the Hausa people and using the Hausa population to set Nigeria back until recently. And while they were doing that, they were silencing the Hausa people. They kidnapped them in their farms, raped their women, imposed taxations on them, forced them to vote for them in elections. Can you imagine a little minority? The total population of the Fulanis in Nigeria is not up to 10 million. And you know the population of Nigeria, 250 million people. So how do they do it? How are they able to corner the people of Nigeria and put us where we are right now? We must break that chain. That's exactly what we are about to do. So for them to do all this, they will choose some slaves, some second, those who have accepted to be second-class citizens of Nigeria. They will choose them from Yoruba land. They will choose them from Igbo land. They will choose them from all over the places in Nigeria. And they know they are experts in manipulating. In addition to seizing the command and control infrastructure of the armed forces of Nigeria. Now, since democracy came back to Nigeria, since 1999, it looks like the Igbo people have been electing strangers, people who don't, who they, that they're like they don't behave like they are Igbo people. They don't serve the interest of those who elect them. They invite hell from what they call federal might to destroy their own people. As we speak right now, young Igbo people are being murdered everywhere in Igbo land, especially in Imo State and the Okigwe area. They planted a criminal who did not win an election. He came forth in the election, and they used their Supreme Court to make him governor of Imo State. I'm talking about Hope Uzodinma. And the same thing with all the governors there, they're all useless. The politicians from Igbo land are mostly idiots who don't care about the people. So why are they there? And that's raising some questions about how are they elected? Are they elected by the massive population who always come out to talk about the agitation for Biafra? So who elects them? How do they get there? And then become strangers to their people who cannot do a damn thing for their people. The insecurity in their place is second to none on earth. Yes, they suppress their people and they don't do anything for them. If you go to Enugu, the amount of killing that is going on there by Fulani bandits, Fulani terrorists, nobody responds, nobody answers, and nobody is held accountable. So that's the reason I'm asking this question. How do they come to power? And now there's a young man who stood up. He was born in 1972. His name is Nnamdi Kanu. He was born 2 years after the end, they call it end of the genocide, but it continued in a different way. Every time some gods are hungry in Nigeria or they test your blood, they will go for the Igbos in the north, in the southwest, and elsewhere. So when are we going to stop sacrificing these people? So this young man came unhappy about the plight of his people, and looking back at history, he started peacefully asking questions, hoping that the Nigeria will answer what they did not answer at Aburi. After an arrangement and agreement was reached between Ojukwu and Gowon, Gowon came back and reneged and then set the Igbo land and the entire Nigeria on fire. Blew up a boom for Nigeria on a silly civil war that benefited Europe, and they left millions of Nigeria dead. Yes, billions of Nigerians dead. So this young man started asking questions. He was not armed. It was a non-violent agitation. You will see them, they will march peacefully. They talk about Biafra and all that. Instead of Nigeria, though not Nigeria, Fulani Nigeria, they declared a war against the young man. Their pythons started dancing and their crocodiles started crying. Those pythons will cry and their crocodiles, the pythons will dance and their crocodiles, that's their military operation, the code they give to their military operations. They will cry and die. Only when the people in the Niger Delta, where I come from, where the oil that drives the economy of Nigeria is produced, and when the Igbos ask questions, that's only when the crocodiles will cry. Every other place in Nigeria is secured. Now the insecurity just got worse now. I think everybody is getting a bit of it. In my hometown alone, over 100 persons have been kidnapped. And we have recorded 10 deaths from those kidnaps, including an infant, a day-old infant, whose mother was kidnapped. And then the woman fell into labor. Yes. She had the baby. And these Fulani terrorists took her baby and gave it to their dogs to maul. The dogs ate a day-old baby. The mother was watching. Can you imagine being a mother, watching your day-old baby being eaten, and the woman died from the shock? And as we speak, nobody was held accountable. No arrest was made. In the Plateaus, the same thing. In Benue, massacre, 170, 200, and like that. Yes, millions of Nigerians, as we speak, are in IDP camps in their country, internally displaced people in their country. How long? How long are we going to continue this way? So I'm going to invite someone, to speak from Abuja. Let us get him on board. So while we discuss this vexatious issue, I hope he's still awake. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. All right. Let's see. Go back. Yes, it's ringing, but I don't know if he's still awake. Hello.
I've almost left off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was there were a few things that I needed to do. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right, you are on to ONN. We have been talking about the situation going on in Nigeria, and especially the disposition of the Igbo political elites. Now, I want to ask you a question: are these Igbo elites they Igbos or they are mercenaries? Who do they represent?
This is a very, very tough question.
Yes.
You are asking, are they what? Come again?
Are they mercenaries? Are they truly Igbos? If they are Igbos, why are they not representing their people? Why are they so distant from the Igbo people?
The place of the Igbo man in the Nigerian nation.
Speak up a little bit, sir. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I said the place of the Igbo man in the Igbo nation is a subject of intense discussion, both in the academic community and even amongst the Igbo people themselves now. Because trying to figure out an identity for who actually they are in the scheme of things in the Nigerian state has become a very, very difficult thing for them to do. And so the concept of the Igbonization of the Igbo man in Igbo land, as well as in the Nigerian state, is an interesting area that is engaging a lot of people, and particularly for people like myself. Now, the Igbo man is distancing himself from himself on many reasons that one cannot explain. Well, theoretically, it could be a fallout of the Civil War, the aftermath of the Civil War. And the need to carve an identity, economic identity, and social and political identity for himself. So, on account of this, most Igbo people tend to go things alone on themselves, rather to ascribe to communal or group entanglement. Now, answering your question specifically, whether these people are Igbos or not, is a question that I will not be able to answer outright. I recall some time ago, a prominent Igbo daughter addressed this particular subject matter. And one of her regrets is that no matter how you try as much as possible to run away from your source, from your identity, you can never run away from it. It's like a leopard. The spots in a leopard can never be taken away, no matter how you try. Now, my sense of what you're saying is because you are deeply also touched by the new drive by certain elements who are pushing for release of Nnamdi, if I'm getting you right.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. I'm hearing you, but raise your voice a little bit higher, if you can.
Oh yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you put your phone on speaker? If it's on speaker, we can hear you better. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay. So what I'm saying is maybe you're also deeply concerned with the new drive, with the effort being directed towards the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
It also has led to a lot of questions. Where would it be at this time? Why would it be those who are headlining this campaign to release are liking those who are not from the part of that country? Why is it that the Igbo elite, the supposed Igbo elite who are supposed to be at the forefront of this campaign, are chicken and they had their tails in between their legs? Ajaja, it's pretty very easy when outside the sphere of politics, outside the country, outside the orbit of politics, as incubated and orchestrated within the Nigerian political context for you to understand why it is extremely very difficult for you to. Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Hello, you can hear me very well?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes. Why it is very difficult for you to function productively and, to the interest of the Igbo man. Now, let me try to contextualize this as it relates to Nnamdi Kanu, for instance. One of the things you have to know is that governance in Nigeria has ceased. 2 years after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was elected as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I can tell you authoritatively that governance has ceased. And what is happening in this country is politics. So people are trying to take every opportunity to capture some political capital, some political gains from every issue that is at the national level. And I see this move as part of those efforts to capture political gains or political capital. Now, the cancellation of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is one of the most complex, volatile, and significant issues in contemporary Nigerian politics. And if we begin to analyze it, it has multiple perspectives. You can look at the legal perspective, you can look at the political perspective, you can look at the socio-economic perspective, you can also look at the security-related perspective. So you have multiplicity of perspectives, all incubated in one. Now let's look at the legal perspective. Some sort of entangled well. Let me put it some sort of entangled well. Now you recall that Kanu's legal journey has been marked by controversy and has raised serious questions about the rule of law in Nigeria. Kanu is not the only prominent figure that has dissented from the state of Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu is not the only person in this country that has been a loggerhead with the Nigerian government. Nnamdi Kanu is not the only figure, no matter whatever you can classify him, as being the only person you can describe as renegade against the Nigerian state, against the Nigerian government, against the Nigerian politics. Now, if we take it from that side, you recall the position of Sunday Igboho, how the politics around Sunday Igboho was managed. how some Igbo has become a free man to speak. Now, when a man is killed under a very, 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 very survivalist circumstance, his abode was rendered, he was almost killed, and by the breath and the mercy of God, he was able to escape. And he took wind of that and ran away for his dear life. Well, the legal feedback the government gave that was that he escaped bail.
No, he did not. He did not escape. He did not. He did not jump bail. The court case, the appearance date was appearing, and they wanted to create that kind of scenario to make him run away, so they will have a justification to kill him or to say that he jumped bail, and for what they are doing right now.
Yes. Now, that is why I'm couching in that manner. That's why I'm couching in that manner.
Yeah.
You can see the orchestration. You can see the leading. You can see the drive. You can see the manipulation. You can see the way everything was orchestrated to make it look as if he was responsible for it. I have been one of those who have always shouted on top of my voice that Nnamdi Kanu ought to have been released long time ago. I was singled out. I was said to have been among those who were leading this fight against the government and all that. What in my little way I spoke out. Now the thing is this: what are the charges against Nnamdi Kanu? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. If we're looking at it legalistically, what are the charges? He's facing, as claimed by government, he's facing trial on charges including terrorism, treasonable felony, and managing an unlawful society. Note, the government's charge against him on the court, let me say the court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is charging him that terrorism, treasonable felony, and managing unlawful society. Now, you look at all these three angles. Look at terrorism, look at treasonable felony, look at managing unlawful society. Now, where do terrorism predominate in Nigeria? It's likely in the north.
Yes.
And they are leaders, known leaders of terrorist organizations. They are leaders. There are known terrorists, not only the leaders, the terrorist organizations are also known. With the sophisticated security equipment and all you have, they can be able to pinpoint the leaders of the terrorism across the hemisphere in the north. What have we got to see today? Everyday stories. The government is doing its best to fight terrorism. Now, how many people have been killed on account of terrorism in the north when compared to what is happening in the southeast?
Nobody has been held responsible, accountable for any reason.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even though one life is as important as 100 lives. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Where does terrorism predominate in the Nigerian state? That is not being addressed. Now you are charging him now the card for terrorism. Now you're also charging him for treasonable felony. Now, when a man under international law, when a man convinced of the atrocity that is taken against his people, sustained over decades of years, decades. This is not perception. These are reality within the Nigerian political ecosystem. The Nigeria in the Nigeria we see today, the Igbo man is a man that is looked at as a threat. You can't go to anywhere in any part of this country, you are looked at a threat. You stay quietly in peace, you are looked at a threat. You coexist with the owners of the land, you are looked at a threat. You put up businesses in a place, you are looked at a threat. You drive a vehicle, you are a threat. You live in a house that is rented, you are a threat. Your children go to school, you are a threat. So if a man finds himself under this kind of horrible condition, And the man stands up to cry and say, look, what you are doing to me or what you're doing to us is evil and is inhuman. Is that a definition of treasonable felony?
Yeah, that's it's not supposed to be.
Okay. Now, the global community, the Western power, those that are driving the selfish economic agenda that is causing so much problem across many nations, are aware of this, even as it relates to this country. Then they turn a blind eyes. Now, I have just tried as much as possible to peep into the terrorism angle, to look at the treasonable felony. Now let's look at managing the third one I talked about, managing an unlawful society. I can tell you and all your listeners that are listening to this program tonight, a battle, a cause cannot be killed on account of a death of an individual. Even now the Kano dies tomorrow, another man the Kano will rise up.
Absolutely.
If Nnamdi Kanu dies tomorrow on account of what is happening in the Nigerian state as relates to the Igbo man, another Nnamdi Kanu will rise up, and that Nnamdi Kanu that will rise up might be more bloodier, might be more daring, might be more bloodthirsty than the Nnamdi Kanu we're seeing today. Now, what point am I making? There's only one answer to this. The Nigerian state needs to be truthful to itself. The Nigerian state has got to a point where it has to sit down and ask themselves, why are we treating the Igbo man the way we're treating him in the land of his own? I do not know if I'm communicating with you and across with all the listeners.
Yes, they're listening, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yes. The government alleges that Nnamdi Kanu made the broadcast on Radio Biafra, and the leadership of IPOP incited violence and destabilized the Southeast. Now, if you go to the Southeast is the most highly militarized environment or region
Yes.
in this country. Not only be militarized, the Southeast has the highest number of police checkpoints or security checkpoints across this federation. When the people are in a mode of conquest, people feel a sense of being conquered. When you look right, is the military on their right hand. You look left, is the police on their right hand. On their left side. You look the other way, it is the DSS on their right hand.
Oh, Dr. Leo. Now, the one question I have is, I would think that this situation would inspire the representatives. There are state governors who are supposed to be Igbos. There are, I was okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states. Every state has 3 senators. There are 15 senators at the Senate of the National of the House of Senate in Nigeria, and I'm sure there are over 50 members of the House of Representatives that are Igbos. We don't hear anything on the floor of the National Assembly from any Igbo representative, maybe with the exception of one Abaribe. We have not heard anything about them. So this is the reason I'm asking this question. If they are there in this number, who are they representing? Why are they not speaking? We have an Igbo minister of works that is like has become is on the center stage of his storm right now because of his unguarded responses to questions that somebody, a journalist, asked him. Answer a question he could not, and then he went on a tirade. Well, I would think that he will use that energy to advance the cause of the Igbo people who are sadly under siege in Nigeria. So what's wrong? What is wrong here?
Okay. your question is very, very valid, and it's also very important as we do go on with this discussion.
Yes.
You've mentioned Abaribe. God will always bless Abaribe because he has been very consistent.
Yes.
Abaribe at the point had to give up. Abaribe at the point had to give up because when a man is in the middle of an ocean and he's trying as much as possible to navigate himself out of that ocean and see nobody around him, he felt like somebody was going to be drowned, and so he had to also find a way to survive first. That is just the way I would explain that very, very situation. I come from a constituency in Abia State.
Yes.
And the same constituency, that is where Nnamdi Kanu comes from. Coincidentally, Nnamdi Kanu is my brother. When I say he's my brother, Nnamdi Kanu is from the same Igbo clan. So he's my, when I say he's my stock, Nnamdi Kanu is like a brother to me.
Okay.
My house to Nnamdi Kanu is a walking distance. So we are the same people. Now, I just seen in the last few months, our representative, Obia Bocha, is doing very well. He's doing extremely very well on this issue of Nnamdi Kanu. I've never had any interviews with him in recent time. I do not know him very much. But if the account of the media reports I'm getting and all the moves I'm seeing so far, I can say that Obia Bocha is doing very well because I see him consistently always trying to push this issue of Nnamdi Kanu to the front burner. Now, so for me, I mentioned Abaribe, I mentioned Obia Bocha as being the two leading figures I can see from the southeast of Igbo extraction that are pushing this particular release of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, to your question, what happens with other ministers,
other representatives, the state governors?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The state governors,
yes.
the ministers, and all those who have appointed position. Now, other than you can, now there is what we call the original Igbo man. Let me just use that good word. The original Igbo man and the contaminated Igbo man.
Tell us more about that. Yeah.
Yes. Let me explain. I'm trying to make it very clear so it becomes very, very picture square. Who will understand what I'm talking about? When I say original Igbo man, I'm talking about a man that has the deep blood of Igbo man flowing in. No Biaku Igbo man. The man that sees himself in the full color, the Ojuku character. Now, that gives you some idea of the kind of people I'm talking about. Now, you have the fake, contaminated Igbo man. That is those they describe as the Lagos Igbo. Let me use the word, the Lagos Igbo.
Lagos Igbo man. That's serious.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just using this as
yes.
generic term.
I understand where you're going.
I'm not trying to. We can find a better word to recoin, but I'm just trying to make it a little bit more clear for people to understand where we are coming from.
Yes.
So now, and this Lagos Igbo man is these people that on April 25th of December,
they come home.
Every 25th of December, you see them go home, and after that 25th of December, you see them rush back to their bases. Now, these are the Lagos business. These are the Lagos Igbo man you think about. So those are the two flank people. So now, in nutshell, so what we find likely in the House of Assembly, the National Assembly is to have the Lagos Igbo man. If that now will connect very close to people, that will give you a clear sense. This is the Lagos Igbo man. Now, so the Lagos Igbo man predominates the Igbo interest in the National Assembly, populated by senators, members of the House of Representatives, the ministers, and government appointees. These are the Lagos Igbo men.
So how do the Igbos end up electing Lagos Igbo men, for instance, the way you put the name? And I understand where it is. They are not. They don't know what it takes to be an Igbo man. And that's what it is. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, the Igbo man some sense, is pauperized when it comes politics. That is, he is pauperized when it comes to politics. The Igbo man seeks for his own economic and social survival first before he thinks about politics. And so the Lagos Igbo man has the resources on one hand. The Lagos Igbo man has the friends of the state in Nigeria. The Lagos Igbo man has the contact in INEC. So when you have a marriage between the corrupt INEC, you have a marriage between the resources which the Lagos Igbo man have, and also the contact the Lagos Igbo man have with the state of Nigeria, you can find out why it is very difficult for the Igbo Igbo man to find a place in the National Assembly.
Don't you think that should change? If you are represented by people who don't even have, they don't care about you, I would think that something needs to change.
Of course, it has to change. It has to change. And this becomes very clear when you look at how the governor of Imo State emerged.
Yes.
Governor Imo State.
Yeah, he never won an election. By the declaration of INEC, he came fourth in that election. But all of a sudden, he became the governor of Imo State. And then this happened. What now? I want to ask a question, Dr. Leo. Listeners from around the world, I've been talking to Dr. Leonard Nzewa. Dr. Leonard Nzewa was the chairman of the African Action Congress and the former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria. He's an Igbo man from Abia State, well versed in Nigerian politics and well versed, a very traditional Igbo man. I had to wake him up. I didn't plan to do this interview. I had to wake him up to look at, because I'm bothered. I'm really troubled about what is taking place in that part. I've done a lot of work that the Nigerian mainstream media will refuse to do in Igbo land because they are all complicit in what is taking place. As we speak, there is a lot of judicial murder being carried out by the Fulani speaking driven Nigerian soldiers in Igbo land. They speak Hausa, but they are not Hausas. They take them there. They take them. The people who drive Nigeria to hell deploy these fierce-looking Hausa-speaking Fulani soldiers to Igbo land to murder. They are serially murdering Igbo young children, especially the males. A lot of young males have escaped from Igbo land and are taking refuge because when they see them, they kill them and bury them in shallow graves. And the media, the corrupt Nigerian mainstream media, will not do anything. They don't say anything. They don't report anything on what is taking place. I reported a story from Ihube in Imo State, and it was sad to see the pictures that I posted, from what is taking place in a supposed one Nigeria. So you've been listening to somebody who is well versed in Nigerian politics and who understands what is taking place. But I don't know how much the mainstream media will want to engage him because they don't want to touch those areas. But we touch everything, and that is what we are bringing to you. The Igbo people in Nigeria, they have 5 states. Sadly, all the other regions in Nigeria have 6, and then there's one region that has 7. Yes, and these people, and that is why Nigeria is in a state of political imbalance. See, it doesn't make sense. All the other regions, they said they have 5 geopolitical regions in Nigeria. They created 6, 6, and 7 for themselves. And then, very unfair situation in Nigeria. So it's only in Igbo land that you have 5 states. And as we speak, there is I'm going to come to that anyway. So you've been listening to Dr. Leonard Nzewa, former chairman of the African Action Congress, AAC, to which I belonged one time when I ran for Senate. And he was also the inter-party chairman, the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, which means he was the chairman of all the chairmen of political parties in Nigeria. That's to tell you, it's a person of interest that we are talking to this evening, talking about the plight of the Igbos in Nigeria. since after the massacre of over 6 million of them. I would think that Nigeria should give them a reprieve, and admit them back into Nigeria. They didn't do anything that nobody has done in anywhere on earth. And these people are the hardest working Nigerians. Give it to them. All right. I am so happy to say that. I'm so proud. They are the people who will turn nothing into something. These were the people who, when Nigeria put them under assault, they started building their own armored cars. Imagine if Nigeria integrated them well back into Nigeria. Why should Nigeria be importing armored cars from anywhere on earth? They built their own airports. They were refining petroleum, yes, locally by themselves. They converted palm oil into aviation fuel. Yes, these are all the scientists who did that. Nigeria could not assemble them together because of the hate that they have. And now a lot of them have died, are old, and they cannot do anything anymore. Did they transfer this technology to anybody? I am not sure about that. That's this terrible state we find ourselves in Nigeria. So, Dr. Leonard, welcome and thank you again for being part of this program. Now, one question that I need to ask you is this. We are here, and then the talk of Nnamdi Kanu, whenever there was this agitation for Biafra, we come, you see thousands, even millions. The crowd that Nnamdi Kanu generates scared me at a point. Like, where on earth is this guy coming from? I know he did not buy those people. They were people who were desirous of, building a new nation because they're tired of being in a country where nobody appreciates them. Everybody, everywhere you turn is hate, 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 hate. So now these millions of Igbos, especially young Igbos, how do they vote whenever there is an election? And with these millions of young Igbo people, how on earth was somebody able to impose a governor who puts all the on them? And then that decision stood, and they could not occupy Imo for as long as it took for them to convey a message to the Nigerian state that they cannot do certain things and in their enclave and get away with it. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that. Can you be very clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. One thing I want you to have at the back of your mind now that the Igbo man or the Igbo nation or the Igbo people have gotten to a stage where I can describe as being apolitical.
Do you think that serves their interest?
No, it doesn't serve their interest, but because the situation and the circumstances under it doesn't serve their interest. It does not serve their interest, but because of the peculiar situation that they have found themselves, the Igbo man, as a matter of default, has become apolitical. And it's because of his apoliticalness that has resulted into enthronement or into recruitment of Lagos political Igbo men to now dominate the Igbo interests at the national assembly. I want us to get this very clear.
No, I get it. But still, if it's not serving the interest of the people, there should be a rethink on allowing that to continue to happen. You don't put people who do not respect you, who don't care about you, who don't care about your plight in a position where they are representing you. That is what the Hausa man has suffered for 221 years. Fulani sees them, they see their language, they spoke Hausa. The ordinary person would think that those speaking Hausa were representative of the Hausa people. Until recently, when the can of worm got exposed, to see the fierce reaction of Hausa people to the extent they don't even want to hear anything Fulani anymore. Yes. So you get to that point. And that's my opinion anyway.
I agree. What we are doing basically is to, you know, identify the issues, and begin to seek out and propose solutions to it. And for you to understand those issues very clearly, be able to analyze it, identify what is the motivations why those things happen, and what you need to do to dismember or to dislodge those motivations, and create or incentivize the Igbo man to get back to politics. We are not going nowhere. The Hausas are reacting. Their reaction has not even resulted into a situation where they are going to displace the Fulani hegemony. It has not led to that point. It's a point of reaction that we are in now. So the point I'm trying to make is this. Yes, it does not serve the interest of people in any way at all. It doesn't. It doesn't. And nobody is praying for this kind of thing to continue. Nobody is praying for it to continue. Now, you have contested election in Nigeria. You have come to this country. You have contested election. You know the way elections are conducted in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know the factors responsible for the enrollment of people that will ascend into any of the offices, political offices in this country. And you can understand the challenges, the Herculeanness, you can understand the rigidity, you can understand the difficulty of finding a sane and moderate and responsible person to ascend that position. It's always very difficult in Nigeria. It is better for a town, for a criminal, for a questionable, a person that has questionable character to ascend or to represent people in this country than for a nobleman to climb there. And so those people they consider to be noble and they have a mind of their own and will stand their ground will not be permitted to go there. With the wicked marriage between INEC, with the wicked marriage between the states, and with the wicked marriage between the lack of resources on account of the excess of people. So the point I'm making is this. We have seen the situation as it is now. What we are doing is this, is how can we change the situation? Is it going to be revolutionary? It is going to be immediate? It is going to be gradual? What are the things that can be done to change the state of Igbo man in the Nigerian states? Because the Igbo-nization of the Igbo man, Igbo land and the Nigeria, is a fact of life now. People will like it or not. So what I'm trying to say is we have a lot of stages to cross. And one of the key stages we need to cross is the Igbos have got to come together as one body. Let me give you a clear example. Somebody from Delta State, you are an Igbo man to the core. There's no doubt about that. You are an Igbo man to the core. And you are happy to be an Igbo man. Now, somebody from River State that is an Igbo man will deny that he's not an Igbo man. The man in River State will go to war against an Igbo man. Somebody from Anambra, especially Onitsha, will tell you he's not an Igbo man. You go to war to fight against the Igbo man, even in that Onitsha. Now, when you have this kind of things, when you have this kind of distractions, when you have this kind of gang go, when you have this kind of systematic arrangement to disorganize, completely dismember it from all fronts, you need to understand why it is very difficult for Igbo man to stand and one particular nation as a given time to fight on the home front. Now, Adega, what can we do as an Igbo and as representing the Igbo interest to see how the Igbo can be better in this country? There are a whole lot of possibilities. There are a whole lot of possibilities. Can the Igbos unite as one entity, as one people, and for them to move ahead to get what they want? What the Igbo man wants? The Igbo man is not asking for anything that is special. The Igbo man is asking for instance. If there are opportunities in federal service, let's do it by competence. If you set up an examination, a professional examination, and I score the highest mark in that exam, you give me the job. I can't have 80%. You are giving the job after scoring that 80% in an exam. You will take somebody that scored 10%, you go and give the person 10% the job. That is what the Igbo man is asking for. And that is not too much you ask for. So, now, I am making the difficultness of why people figure out how to survive in a country called Nigeria. That's what we need to do to move forward. So, specifically to your question, Ajaja, we have a lot of people in diaspora. We have a lot of people that are professionally competent in various areas of human labor. We have a lot of people that have gone to the extent of occupying very strategic positions across the globe. What is it that these are Igbo brothers are doing? Most of them don't want to identify with Igbo people. Most of them don't want to identify with Igbo people. To stay here, one of the greatest ambitions of an Igbo man is to live in the country. If you look at the number of Nigerians that live in this country, if they are 100 persons a day, I can tell you confidently that over 50% of that number is from the Igbo land. They don't want to stay because they are denied every opportunity they can get. So the enormity of the challenge is what is dwarfing their effort. It is demoralizing.
Yeah, is demoralizing, but still, okay. For instance, this I am not a fan of all these regional or tribal organization, but I say the one they call it Ohanese. They see the Igbos being decimated everywhere in Nigeria, and you see them going to um, the apologists of the oppressors. So why do you have Ohanese, for instance? What are they doing? I don't think they have done any good since that organization came together, just like the other ones. They are agents of division.
If I open up something to you, it will shock you.
Yes.
Do you know that the organizing people, when it comes to the elections of that particular bodies, the sponsors of that particular body for the leadership, the resources come from even outside the Igbo community. Vested interests that are not Igbo sponsor Igbos to occupy that position. So it is not out of place that you find the chairman or the leader of the Igbo organizing Igbo being a man that is sponsored by a group within the Nigerian states to survive the will of Igbo man, and he's also a Igbo man in front of them. It's there for everybody to see.
Okay, now like the situation now that is going on, the clamor for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I've seen a lot of people now building political capitals out of it. Even Atiku is talking, which is very strange. But the Igbo man is not talking. So the agitation for the release of an Igbo man is not being championed by Igbo people who are supposed to be at the forefront of championing it. How do you see that? What do you see? I would think, yeah, I'm a Nigerian. That is why I'm stepping out as a Nigerian to, do what I'm doing, believing that Nnamdi Kanu is a Nigerian like me, although he has said he's no longer Nigerian, but he's a human being. On account of humanity, I will not close my eyes as an activist to see somebody being decimated in the first place. The situation, all the proceedings leading to his kidnap. He was kidnapped, and which is against international laws. Again, that is another thing. And he has a British citizenship, and I believe that he went to Kenya on a British passport. There's one thing that I would say that America will not allow happen to its citizens, whether he was born in Nigeria or anywhere. As if he traveled on an American passport and he was arrested anywhere in this world, America will make a move. If the minimum they can do is to say, okay, release him to us. Let's come and deal with him here in the US. And it ends there. But the British passport failed him and they kidnapped him. And the man who kidnapped him has a history of kidnapping people. Buhari, remember, he kidnapped Umaru Diko from the streets of London. They drugged him and then put him in a crate that was Nigeria bound until somebody, maybe a tipper from the security, they told them against all international rules to open the diplomatic crate that they had Umaru Diko in. So Buhari has a history of international kidnap. And then that happened. The court system in Nigeria has not found any reason, although, yes, there were some rulings in his favor asking that he be released. And then he was not released. And then the Igbo people dragged the Ambassador Mechi, a 90-something-year-old man, to go and beg Buhari for the release of this young man. He refused to release him. So what is left for the Igbos to do? And now, why did the Igbos allow they took the passenger's seat when other people, maybe some have good intentions, but I know certainly there are some who want to build a political capital out of the politics surrounding the detention of Nnamdi Kanu to agitate for his release. So why does it make you feel happy? What do you feel as an Igbo man with this going on and playing out? And I am not sure that all these intentions are really genuine. What can be done to end this whole nonsense?
Okay. Let me admit that it is not that effort has not been made.
Hey, okay, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for your contribution. Sincere appreciation. All right, Dr. Leonard, go ahead.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is let me admit that it's not that effort has not been made in the past to see that Nnamdi Kanu is released from incarceration or released from prison. But that would be completely unfair if I do say that effort has not been made on that. But the intensity, the consistency, the sustaining of that effort builds into its significance when you know the enormity of what Nnamdi Kanu represents and what that the profound impact he has on Nigeria and the people of Igbo land. Yeah, you have actually you have made a very, very you just made a recall now of how the president of Ghana people went begging to Buhari. Of course, we all know that Buhari has some has to grant with Igbo people.
Yes.
So that was the different talk on its own some other time. But as a person, I feel deeply unhappy that the momentum, the intensity, the rally around now, the effort in large number that is being done now to get that Kano out of the prison, it is not, presumably, it is not directed by the Igbo. Now, my sense of what is playing out is Nnamdi Kanu incarceration reveals a profound element. First, I said that the governance has stopped in Nigeria and politics is intense now. And everything is being done to get political gain or political capital. So I am not surprised with what is happening that the incumbent or the powers that be or the different political forces that are lying and realigning that are fighting to capture 2007 are working to see how they can use that economy as to capture the Igbo land and to put the limit to secure that particular area. Because 2007 presidential election, the way it's going to turn out is going to be fast between most of the political entities. And so, what is being done is largely political and dialogue. And the government cannot legally in a manner where it's as just. This is the legality of his capture. Yes, he cannot politically afford to release it. I want to know this. I'm saying this very clearly. The government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot legally convict him in a manner where it's as just. This is the legality of his capture. Yes, he cannot politically afford to release it. Now the continued detention. Well, it's very violent, and this stability because it's suppressed. Imagine a rallying cry and justification for militant groups. Agaga, while potentially escalating the immediate crisis, carries its own massive political risk and will require a sophisticated political strategy to manage the aftermath. I want to say, on both, Nnamdi Kanu is more powerful and dangerous to the Nigerian state than Nnamdi Kanu out of place. I repeat, Nnamdi Kanu in prison is more powerful and dangerous to the Nigerian state than Nnamdi Kanu out of place. But the government currently sees no safe place to let him out. What is the way forward? There has to be a political dialogue. There has to be a political dialogue that addresses the core issues of marginalization, resource control, the structural imbalance that fuels the demand for Biafra. Biafra, not national. Biafra, about that has been marginalized. Until that happens, not the carrying incarceration will remain an open wound at the heart of Nigeria's spirit, at the heart of Nigerian unity. But if the government is sincere that Islam can act based on the understanding and the conclusion that in the dialogue will originate, sustain, and organize to reunite and bring the people back to the state of Nigeria, then that will not be possible. But even now, the kind of this for political reasons, for political reasons, it not out fire.
Yeah, put your mouth on your microphone. It's going down a little bit.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. What I'm saying is this: even now, the Kanu's release is targeted at addressing the issue of marginalization, the issue of resource control, the issue of structural imbalance in the Nigerian polity that fuel the demand for Biafra. If it is for this purpose that Nnamdi Kanu is going to be released, then it will serve the interest of the Igbo man. But if it is for political capital, because 2027 is coming up, and they want to buy the votes of Igbo man, so that the incumbent will remain in power, or the political force to use as an advantage to climb or ascend to the presidency, into backfire. The Nnamdi Kanu spirit, the Biafran spirit, will still rise and will still predominate. So my point here is this: I see this as being more political than being a genuine dialogue to address these issues being done. And if it's not done that way, these mercenaries, I see them as mercenaries, who would like to hold on to headlines, who would like all to use the protests as a medium of extorting money from people abroad, who would like an opportunity to ginger the social media, who would like to use Nnamdi Kanu's release or the protests as another distraction for the Nigerian people and for the people. It will not serve the purpose. So for me, this is more political. And now let's ask ourselves, why is it now that some certain individuals who are not from that area of the country are the ones spearheading the release of Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, I
Why
think,
is it?
well, if we are supposed to be from one country, well, the only thing is the honesty is one that we cannot understand. We cannot answer because if it was supposed to be Nigeria, every Nigerian has a right to stand up for any person who is incarcerated. But I'm concerned about the silence from the Igbo angle. I'm concerned that the likes of Soludo is not doing anything. I'm concerned that David Umahi is busy fighting Oseni Rufai instead of addressing this issue that is central to what is taking place in Igbo land. I am surprised that Governor Umba has defected with his entire cabinet and the state assembly, even when his people are being massacred by Fulani terrorists. He's not seeing any problem with continuing to keep this young man in detention. I heard Governor Oti the other day, that was a few days ago, assuring the people in Abia that Nnamdi Kanu was going to be released. So, how true that is, and the extent to which he has gone with the confidence with which he spoke that day, I'm definitely sure that Hope Uzodinma does not want Nnamdi Kanu released because of the direct threat he poses to his political ambition. And I'm sad to hear the likes of Joe Igbokwe in Lagos saying that he preferred Nnamdi Kanu to rot and die in jail. What a cold statement from a supposed Igbo man. And all these are the elites that sadly have hijacked the leadership of the Igbo people. And I'm really sad that this is the situation right now. I'm telling you that I am very, very disturbed that this young man, I don't want to be so pessimistic, but I hate that people are taking advantage of this situation to build a political capital for themselves.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
No, well, your point on the submissions you made are very much valid and very correct.
Yes.
But I want to tell you that this is not the first time the sitting governor has come out to say that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. These are just mere political statements. It's just that is his constituency. Nnamdi Kanu comes from Nnamdi Kanu is an Abia.
Mhm.
So it will be nice that the state governor will continue to comfort the Abia people that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. But to the extent that comfort is coming from him and also the actual work that's being done, either publicly or privately for Nnamdi to come out is what we've not seen yet. Uh, uh, I haven't seen how the political current works in this country. My sense of what is going on for me, I see more political than as being genuine. However, anything can turn up, anything can come up. I sympathize with Nnamdi Kanu with the fluidity, with the circumstances under which the whole thing is happening and where it's going. How I am looking at how is he going to manage himself under this kind of situation? Because first, if Nnamdi Kanu is going to be released, it has to be tied to conditions. It has to be tied to requirements. It has to be tied to undertakings. It has to be tied down to conformities and all that. So, what you're going to experience is it going to be an Nnamdi Kanu that is going to be watered down completely, deviating completely from the course which is set out or which has motivated him to get to prison, or another Nnamdi Kanu that will come up becoming a refreshed, a different Nnamdi Kanu. So in my own state now, I'm not looking at the webs. I'm not looking at the webs. I'm not looking completely at the workings around how it's going to be released. I'm looking at the state of mind of Nnamdi Kanu and how will this affect his credibility? How will it affect what he has done for over the years? The steadiness, the stillness of the personality called Nnamdi Kanu, what he represents for the Biafra and the IPOP followers. So I don't envy him. I don't envy him, and I feel very sympathetic for him because at this stage now, don't forget that he's not feeling too well. He has a very good thing. It's God has been holding him. No man can kill any man. It's God that who owns life. But over a long period of time, now the camera has been having a lot of health challenge and all that. So at this crucial time, is he going to back? Is he going to back down? Will he agree to the conditions that we spelled out? People definitely will make undertaking on his behalf that he's going to turn a new leaf. He's going to do. So I think my point is this: that I'm trying to look at the person that they can and what is in his mind and how this is going to happen in the next few weeks and months ahead. But the point we need to find out is this now. It's only a man that is alive that can fight another day. That's another thing we need to also look at now. Mm-hmm. It's a man that is living that can fight. A dead man cannot fight. So I will as a human being, with a man that has family, with a man that has responsibilities, with a man that has a lot a lot of things around him. If he comes out, let him come out first, then we know what to take it for. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Um, and I would also advise these so-called people that are organizing this protest, these business people that are organizing this protest, that the country should be very careful of them. That's the submission I made. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Leonard. Thank you for showing up at such a very short notice. We appreciate you, and we look forward to talking with you some more on this situation. For us here at ONN, we will continue to press and continue to press to and enlighten Nigerians about this situation. So all of us will take this struggle as our own struggle, as a national struggle, and not just a struggle for the Igbo people like it has always been. And looking at before you leave, um, uh, I don't recognize Bola Ahmed Tinubu as my president. He's not my president. So I will never validate him by calling him President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's not. And then he will never be. And so that's it. Today, yesterday, a lot of people were released. So 175 of them. And I went through the list. Many of them were drug dealers. So he released a lot of people from his constituency, drug dealing constituency. Sad. And the criminals, fraudsters, those who have stolen from Nigeria, hurt Nigeria. And those are form the crux of those who were released, including a woman who murdered her husband. That really pained me. And a lot of other murderers who were released, who were supposed to face a capital punishment for their crimes. But he released them. So this man is a criminal. So what do you think about releasing all this bunch of criminals, and they are living they are living a freedom fighter to rot in jail? And another thing that I saw about Bello Turji, who is being masterminded by Fulani elites. He's out there enjoying freedom with the AK-47 all over his body, and nobody. Nigeria is funny, for real. Nigeria is funny. So before you leave, just say something to the people of Nigeria on this, and let's keep on rolling.
Well, I get that. I get that. Let me thank you and all your followers for doing the great work you're doing. It's always very difficult when you're not beside the pot where the soup is being cooked, and when you are far from where it is being cooked. Most times, when we sit very close to where this thing is being done, we ask several questions. And one of the questions you've been able to answer, we just directed that question now to the person. I do not know how the clemency, I do not know how the clemency of Hamid, who died decades ago now, will impact my life in any way or in any form. Now, the point I'm trying to make is these are political moves. These are things that are done to snatch and get political capital over time. The man Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we know who he is. People know who he is. The vested interest that put him there who he is. They know the purpose which he's serving. So we will not be labeled always that this man, his history is something that has continued to be found with progressive analysis. But for one thing, there's something that is wrong somewhere, and now you have also hit it on the head. So I say thank you very much for your move up, and keep on keeping on hitting on that we hit next time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. All right, go ahead and go and sleep. Good night and take care from here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, bye bye. Yes, listeners from Nigeria, across Africa, and around the world, we've been talking to Dr. Leonard Nzewa, the former chairman of the African Action Congress, AAC, and the the former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria. He's a very, very talented person with a wealth of knowledge of Nigeria and what has been taking place in Nigeria. We just, you heard him talk about some very serious issues, especially with reference to the continued incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. right in Nigeria. And what did he do? For asking a question, the same question that was asked in 1966, between 1966 and 1967, that led to the massacre of over 6 million innocent and defenseless Nigerians of the Igbo extraction, including women and children. And in my own place, very close to my hometown, the city of Asaba, the men there were brought out every 4 days. The 4 days in a week in an African week. There are 4 days in an African week. 4 days, every 4 days. General Murtala Mohammed and his gang of killers were bringing out the males. They depleted that place of males, and it's still affecting them today. Every day he was bringing them out in their numbers, thousands, and was shooting them up like he was shooting lizards. Life did not mean anything to him anymore, but he paid a price on February 13, 1976, when he got a dose of what he gave to others. Yes, on that day he went and became head of state of Nigeria through a coup d'etat. And then on 13th of February 1976, he met his Waterloo when Dinka and his gang of killers too knocked him out. Yes. So there is a price for every evil that you commit. Yes. And then when he was the head of state, he positioned himself as a Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist who massacred thousands of innocent people in Nigeria. So he paid for that. And since then, that place has not been the same. And the thing now is, we can't continue. Nigeria is so divided. The country is so divided, has never been one Nigeria. Even though they told us at independence that the country was one Nigeria. I don't see anything that is one with Nigeria, with one tiny ethnic group, minority elements from one tiny group holding the whole country to ransom. And the people of Nigeria appear to be like people under anesthesia, and they cannot. And there are some people, some who connive with these people to do the evil, dating back as far back as 1914, the year of amalgamation. Yes, a generational disaster that Nigeria has become. And they don't see anything wrong with what is taking place. Until now, everybody is getting a dose of the evil that some people have been perpetrating in Nigeria. Now, Nigeria, the question is which way? We went from being one of the richest countries on earth to being now the poorest, one of the poorest. I think Nigeria is about number 190 something in the ladder of poverty. Yes, a country that has everything, a country that has abundant mineral and natural resources, a country that has so much oil resources, a country that has so much gas now, but its people are poor. Like, you can't explain the reason for the kind of poverty you see in Nigeria. Poverty driven by the disaster of the tragedy of leadership. Nigeria is a hub of tribalism. And then even those who support men from their places because of their tribal nature, they are suffering. They are poorer than the whole of Nigeria. Why are you poor? Your man is in charge. He's supposed to be making your people poor, rich, but you are not, and you still find a space to line behind that instead of choosing people who can do good for the whole of the country. Men and women driven by abilities, competency, yes, knowledge, courage to do right, courage to represent the whole of Nigeria, courage to take Nigeria as my constituency, east, west, north, and south. It's my country. I must build roads across the country. I must ensure that electricity is generated and distributed across the country. I must make sure that there's water everywhere in the country. I must make sure that small businesses thrive because small businesses drive nations. I must make sure that the economy is not sabotaged by a few people like they sabotage Nigeria. How can you, a country that has four massive refineries, all the refineries died for the emergence of one refinery owned by one individual called Dangote. And some people put somebody there to destroy the economy of our country. 8 years of Buhari's disaster, 8 years of unrelenting Boko Haram insurgency. Nigerians are not seeing. Now the country has been taken over. Mercenaries all over the country, east, west, north, and south. Nowhere is spared right now. Nigerians, what is wrong with us? Why is it that we cannot rise as a country? Why is it that we cannot unite as a country? Why is it that we cannot advance the cause of our country? Why is it that we are holding Africa back from attaining its envisioned unity, unification? We are the reason Africa is struggling. Yes, Nigeria is, the world, Africa is struggling because Nigeria is struggling. Africa is struggling because Nigeria has not seen a reason to solve its internal problem. So we can be that giant of Africa that we are positioned to be. Yes, whether by mistake or by anything, Nigeria is too strategic to be undermined. Even as Nigeria is ailing, the whole of Africa is still looking up to see Nigeria wake up. So the entire continent and the black race will wake up. Nigeria is the flagship of the black race. Why are we holding the country down? For we are poor for no just cause. We are poor for no reason. And still, we find time to talk about tribe. We find time to talk about religion. What has religion done for us? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Religion has made us so poor. Religion has made us paupers. Religion has made us victims of a few people who manipulate us in the name of God to rob us. And they build cities, they buy skyscrapers, they buy jets with which they fly around the world. But you who contribute the money, you live below poverty line. When are we going to get sense? God did not tell us to be slaves to anybody. God said, I gave you dominion. Use your dominion. Your dominion translates into your basic human rights. Your right to life, your right to choice, your right to freedom of expression, your right to freedom of association, your right to worship God in truth and in spirit, and your right to self-determination. Which of these rights do our Nigerians enjoy? I don't know. And if you lose any of these rights, you're as good as dead, even though you may be breathing. And then on top of that, you should have rights as citizens of Nigeria. The right to live any and everywhere lawfully in Nigeria as Nigerian citizens without anybody coming out to tell you that you are Igbo, you are Yoruba, and so you must leave that place like they are doing in Lagos, and like they did to us when I was in Kano, that made me leave Kano and I left Nigeria in 1994 than to be here where I am right now. We have not made any progress since independence in 1960. Some real people, real citizens will now begin to ask themselves question, which way Nigeria? Why are we where we are? Some of us travel outside the country. Well, I live in the United States. A lot of Nigerians live here. Millions with their families live here in the United States. They see how America runs. Yes, America does not, if you can work hard, you can dream, your dream will come true. There is access to opportunities open to everybody. You don't have to be a tribesman. Yes, though America has its own problem, but the problems are not so major to the point that it eclipses you. Otherwise, people like me will not have had the opportunity of working in some high profile places where we made differences. Yes, in America, Nigerians have been elected mayors. Yes, in America, but when I go to Lagos, I won't be elected mayor. Somebody will be telling me that I'm not from Lagos State. Yes, but Lagos is supposed to be Nigeria. So all those things we enjoy here and we deny others in our country, Nigeria, it makes us hypocrites. And we are tired of it. We should be tired. We should be ashamed of ourselves. This case of Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be a Nigerian case. What did he do? He only asked a question. Oh, did he become violent? Who made him violent, assuming he became violent? Who started the violence? When they started, they were not violent. OPC started in Lagos. They were violent. They were harassing people, and nothing happened until because they were not sincere, they died off. See, Biafra is a spirit. You can't kill it. It's an ideology. The only way you can stop that ideology, do right. That was all that they asked. That was all the Igbos had asked in 1960, 65, 66. Yes, and that was the reason they massacred them. They were asking for justice in the country. And still, the people have not been given that justice. So, what moral ground have, has Nigeria got to stop them from building their country if they want? I support them to leave. Yes. But me, if they leave, I will not be in the same country with this crazy Fulani elites. And then there will be no country anymore. Where will that country stand from? The Igbos are the one holding Nigeria. Even if they are agitated, the agitation is a call to action. The agitation is on behalf of the people of Nigeria. They are not agitated. They know that Nigeria is ailing. They know that Nigeria is struggling. They know that Nigeria is suffering. They know that Nigeria is holding everybody down. They are holding the Hausa people down. Nigeria is holding the Fulanis down. There's some responsible Fulanis. Nigeria is holding them down. Otherwise, why would some Fulanis be living inside the bush in the 21st century? Nobody should be living in the forest in the 21st century. If their elites are honest and are desirous of moving them away from living like animals in the bush, them making them a modern African people. Yeah, they enjoy, they arm them, they give them AK-47 to be tormenting the whole of the country. And they say they expect the people not to react. Now, the people of Nigeria will react. This will not continue. The people of Nigeria will react like the people of Central African Republic reacted and then push them out. They will. Yes. So this is a moment for us to ask questions. This is a moment, it's Nnamdi Kanu today. It could be you tomorrow. It could be me tomorrow. Why do we respond the way we respond to national crisis? Now you are continuously holding him. You are making him more powerful. So this, like Nnamdi Kanu, has become a moral albatross. Yes, on Nigeria. He has become a blight on the face of Nigeria. In Nigeria that is so unjust, in Nigeria where I will wake up, I'm more qualified, I go and file for job employment, and then I am not given, even though I'm the most qualified. And then you give the job because somebody I do not come from your place. You give the job to an incompetent person from your place. You know why Nigeria is failing? The incompetent people run everything in Nigeria. When incompetent people run things, they run it down. That's why they run our government down. That's how they run our refineries down. That's why we cannot have good roads. Yes, that's why our healthcare delivery system is run down. That's the reason our educational system is run down. The wrong people are there in position. Wrong vice chancellors, wrong medical directors in hospitals, wrong ministers of health, wrong directors in ministries across Nigeria. They will run the country down. And that is exactly what they did. The wrong soldiers, wrong chief of army staff, wrong chief of defense staff. You leave competent people, you appoint incompetent people in position. The country will go down. So it's not a rocket science that Nigeria came down. So that's why we're like, when Adeboye will come, that corrupt man, they will come and tell them, let us go and pray for the economy. Did Singapore pray for their economy? America is not praying for its economy. Japan does not pray for economy. China is not praying for its economy. All right? Where? Malaysia is not praying for economy to be good. It's only us in Nigeria, in Africa, we continue to pray. God gave you everything. And then you turn back and start praying to him about what he already gave you the power to do because we are mentally and spiritually lazy. Do you see anybody praying for economy? You put the best qualified people to drive the economy, and your economy become productive. Yes. It is you, the ordinary Nigerian. It is we all that have failed Nigeria. How dare we sit down and allow a drug dealer to become the president of our country? And we are celebrating. Yes, and we are celebrating. A drug dealer, certificate forger, and an identity thief is your leader, is your president. And you call him Mr. President. No, not me. All right? And his vice is a terrorist with ties to Boko Haram. Yes, and you all know it. It's not hidden. It's the fact. Your Minister of Defense is a bandit, a terrorist. Yes, he eats and drinks with terrorists. And he quartered them for 8 years as governor of Zamfara State. Yeah, you see them eat and drink with their AK-47 behind them. Your minister is there. You see them. The pictures are there. The videos are there. You come. And then they turn around. The minister, former minister of Attorney General of Nigeria, Malami, was the one who wrote the blueprint for assimilating terrorists to Nigerian army. Yes. He refused to prosecute the Boko Haram people that were arrested. And one day they came with Yusuf Bichi as a DSS director. Boko Haram came and operated in Kuje prison, the biggest prison in Nigeria. 3 hours they operated. There was no presence of the police, no presence of the army, no presence of the DSS. They released all Boko Haram suspects that were arrested. And then a few weeks later, they were admitting them into the Nigerian army. You see how Nigeria lost the battle? You see why Nigerian army is not cohesive? You see why Nigerian army cannot fight Boko Haram? The enemies inside the Nigerian army. Yes, they can't. The only time the Nigerian army is able to do anything is when they are going to the southeast of Nigeria. The very hated Igbo people. That is where you see that they build that cohesion. Chief of Army Staff, what are you doing? Oloyede, what are you doing? Absolutely nothing. You are as confused as hell. Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, we have not heard from you in a long time. I think somebody they have told you. You are now all you are found. You are finding out how wrong you have been. Yes, with the Nigerian military under your watch, destroyed. Ordinary Cameroonian army can march down Nigeria right now and take it. Niger, our neighbor can march into Nigeria and defeat the Nigerian army. So what we have in the Nigerian defense system is just living in the past. That was not really very good. The country is finished. But we can build it because I don't want this type of Nigeria anymore. It's a dead Nigeria. We want a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria where everybody will have free, fair, equal, unlimited, and unconditional access to opportunity to grow and develop, progress and prosper according to abilities and levels of competency in a non-threatening environment. I don't want to see a Nigeria where one Fulani shit will come in to say it's Fulani because it's Fulani and then he has more access to opportunity. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Yes, Nigerians. You should be ashamed of yourself. We should be ashamed of all of ourselves. That one tiny ethnic group, the elements from crazy elements from one tiny group are the ones driving all of us into hell. Then what is the use of our population? 250 million incapacitated people. Yes. 250 million people being chased about by less than 1 million people. Masterminded by criminals. Yes. Nicholas Sunday, how can the country be rebuilt? The country will be rebuilt only when each and all of us and every one of us accept that that country is ours. If we continue to leave it in the hands of some people, we behave as if it doesn't concern us. We cannot build anything. So we have to be born again. You know what I mean? Born again. When you are born again patriots, when like you can die for your country. You take the country because it's our mother. You don't know if you have a mother. Do you love your mother? If you love your mother and your father, that is what Nigeria represents for us. Nigeria presents us with everything that we need to survive. Yes, it takes care the land that it gives us, that we are not even farming enough. It's a big plus. The identity that it presents for us. Yes. And then you must understand too that as a citizen of Nigeria, you owe that country something. Not the country giving you, the country already are giving you anything, everything you need. It give you food through the land. Yes, we live off of the land. Plant corn, plant yam, it will germinate, grow, and it's time for you to harvest it. Yes. All right, Mr. Obi. He said this is your first time here. Please, what is the agenda? Could you introduce yourself? All right, my name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I am the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite. And I'm the anchor of Nigeria Now. This is the program you are watching right now. And Global Matters Arising. Yes, on ONN. This is our channel. And what we are talking about is about the attitude, the behavior of Igbo elites in the face of the oppression of the Igbo people in Nigeria, with reference to the continued incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu in prison, while criminals from other parts of the country have been released from prison, or nothing is done to them. Yes, we have Fulani bandits running amok, destroying and killing our people across the country. Have you ever had any of them arrested and prosecuted and sent to jail or sentenced to death? Have you had anyone? And they have killed thousands of people. And millions of Nigerians are displaced because of their terrorist activities in Borno, in Yobe, in Plateau, in Benue, in Katsina, in everywhere, down to Delta where I come from. Even in Lagos, Ondo, they are operating there. So what can we do to stand up as a people to stop this nonsense? Yes, yes, yes. Nicholas Sunday, he said, but the hatred is so deep for the Igbos. Yes, the hatred is deep because the hatred is being handed over from generation to generation. You will see a young, small child from somewhere. He will come and tell you, I hate Igbos. He has never met Igbos before because their parents are transferring this hate to them. I know one thing that Igbos do not tell people to hate their children. They don't tell people to hate other people. The reason why they don't do it is because they travel a lot. Any person who travels does not do evil thing. Yes. Any person who travels, who has children, he will not do harm to other people. But people sit down in Nigeria, manufacture hate. Me, I was a victim in Kano. So this thing, my military fatigue is the one holding it. You will see my scar. I was stabbed. They killed my friend in Kano. Yeah, they have been killing Igbos since 1966. Millions of them have been murdered. The hatred and the Nigerian media does not help matters. The Nigerian media is driven by haters. They are driven by tribalists. Yes. So when they publish, and then you look at they have a class where they teach their children how to hate. So that is the problem. That is why. So me and you have a duty to now start speaking up against this whole thing. There are a lot of people who are non-Igbos who are now standing, they have seen the truth about what is taking place. We cannot live in one country with so much hate. There's so much hate in Nigeria. A lot of hate in Nigeria. Hey, Linda Madu, how are you? Oh, and my name is Madu too. Nice to meet you. So, if you are joining us for the very first time, please share our message and share our channel. Invite more people. This is a liberation hub. We are not afraid of speaking the truth. Everything we speak here is the truth. And we back everything we speak with facts. We don't create stories here. Some of the things we say may hurt some people. Yes, they will hurt, it will hurt the evil people who don't want Nigeria to unite, who don't want Nigeria to be anything better than it is right now. Nigeria is hell. It has been hell since 1960. Yes, and it's going to be an expansive hell that will consume everybody. It's already consuming everybody now, including those who were celebrating the pain of other. Everybody is now dying. You see, a country that is so unjust, when you have a problem, you go to the court. Your judge will be opening his hand for you to pay him money before he sell you judgment. Or police, they will kill your father, they will kill your mother. In those days, when any case of murder, you murder someone, it is versus you versus the state. The victim does not even have to spend money. They bring the matter to the case because the state has a job to protect citizens. But what is the case now? It's not like that anymore in Nigeria. When they kill any of your family member, you have to be the one to prove the burden of proof will be on you. The financial burden will be on you. Everything will be on you. In time past, or you didn't need to have a lawyer. They say this one murder somebody, the case goes to the court. The state takes it over until that person is found guilty and then sentenced. Yes, the Nigerian people are divided. Yes, we don't lose, we don't love ourselves. Absolutely, absolutely. It started, it started right at independence. Some people did not want to build one Nigeria. They were not interested in building one Nigeria. The leaders, they were only interested in holding their people hostage for their own political benefits. Yes, that is how the whole thing started. Amadu Bello was doing his own in the north. He wanted to keep the Hausa people under control, like his ancestors did. See, this year is the 221 years ago. That's when Hausa people enter one chance. Some of them are now just realizing. Yes. So we are not afraid of speaking the truth. Those at the other end of it, we feel angry. But we need the truth to set our country free and to set ourselves free. And this is why we tell you this is a place, a home. I am not a tribal person. I don't see any person as a lesser Nigerian or a lesser humanity. I see you as my brother and sister that I should love. Yes, unconditionally, regardless of where you come from or regardless of what you worship. But at the same time, I expect you to, to extend the same thing to the next person. Tribalism does not lead anywhere. It has not led Nigeria anywhere than the doom we are in right now. Nigeria is doomed. Can you imagine a place with darkness for over how many years? 60 years of darkness. We cannot generate electricity. Yes, we cannot distribute electricity. How can the country's economy be driven without electricity? And it makes some people happy. Have you seen a place where the public schools have been destroyed the way Nigeria is? Everybody is sending their children to private school. How many parents have the money to send their children? So we are bringing back illiteracy that we thought we have conquered. Yes, you send your children to private school. You don't even have money to pay. You have to beg to be able to pay or do all kinds of things in order to keep your children in school. Public schools were the best. Private school were in those days when we were going to school. Private school were for those who could not pass, who could not do well in public school. Public school had the best teachers. They had the best infrastructure to teach, and where teaching and learning was taking place. But now that is story, no longer. Yes, yes. Yes, Linda, I agree with you. That is one of the things. There was an Igbo man that I just interviewed for over 30 minutes. He was there. He just left. Yes, Igbo elites are very wicked. They are so self-centered. They don't care about their own. They care about their business. That is why Nigeria takes them for granted. That's why people from other places don't respect them. They are only about their business. Their business. They want to protect their business. But their people are dying, they are suffering. Their people are being murdered. They don't care. Yes. When you see them as ministers, they will be licking the ass of the person who appointed them. They'll be licking the ass of, like they're licking the ass of Tinubu now. Tinubu criminal. Igbo ministers are licking his yash. Igbo governors are licking here. They are killing his people. Their people. They are there. But the other people, they protect their people. Did you hear about Sunday Igboho? What did anybody kill him? Is he in jail? No. When he was in Republic of Benin, all the Abbas of in Yoruba, they are crossing border to go meet him. Yes, they were supporting him financially. They were doing all kinds of things for him, and they were the ones who told him to keep quiet so that their man will finish his 8 years. So Igbo man, the Igbo elite is so stupid, very self-centered. This generation of Igbo elites, they are not the ones that we used to know. They have no sense of pride. Yes. How can you be killing people, be killing your people, and you are celebrating them? No, that's sad. Well, what I'm telling Nigerians is this, because we have to speak it the way it is. Nigerians, we are better off repenting and being real Nigerians. Let's be our brother's keepers. Yeah, those who derive pleasures in driving people from fellow Nigerians. When we got our independence, that whole place is Nigeria. They did not grant independence to Yoruba. They did not grant independence to Fulani. They did not grant independence to Biron and all that. They granted the independence to Nigeria. And if it is Nigeria, it means that every Nigerian has a right to lawfully and legally live in any part of Nigeria in peace and contribute to the development of the immediate environment where he lives. He helps build the economy. If he's a business person, he helps build businesses, develop the local economy. And that's one thing the Igbos are very good at doing. You will not take that away from them. Anywhere they go, they will develop the place. They will build their houses there. They will start their business. They will serve the local community. If it is a job that is something that they will employ people, they will employ the people and reach their. But the people are so jealous. Nigerians are so jealous. They jealous these people and jump on them with every opportunity to kill them, to harm them, drive them out. Now you drive the Igbo man out, you suffer. Whenever they leave a place, the place goes down. And that's why we want those who say they are the owners of Lagos, that they are not. Igbo man is the one who built Lagos. Yes, that really reminds me of, thank God that you asked me this question. They were the one who built Lagos. If they take their businesses away, Lagos will collapse. Because nobody can do, they are cut out to do what they do, and they do it very well. Every group has something that is peculiar with them. Commerce, trade, and industry. You can't take it away from the Igbo people. So when they leave Lagos, I really, honestly, even though I'm against it for them to leave Lagos, if they leave Lagos, Lagos will collapse. Or maybe Chinese will come and take it, and then Chinese will enslave the people and come into Nigeria and enslave Nigeria. We love things that hurt us. We hate ourselves. That's the trouble of the black man. The black man has problem with self-hate. Big time. Big time. Everywhere is the same problem. They hate themselves so much. They want to pull themselves down instead of supporting themselves to be. What the black man does to himself, no other race does that to themselves. No. Always scrambling. We're always in this competition to bring ourselves down. It's worse in Nigeria. We must stop. We must stop. We must stop. What is the difference between a Yoruba man and an Igbo man? They have the same skin color. The only thing is your language differ. But now they forced us to speak one language that all of us understand. So what's up with that? Why can't an Igbo man live in Lagos and live in peace? Why can't an Igbo man live in Kano and live in peace? They are not taking anything. They don't come with AK-47 to take your land. They come, if you want to sell them anything, you negotiate, willing buyer, willing seller, and everybody is happy. That is what it ought to be. And that's what it should be. So why kill them? Why attack them? Why jump on them with every opportunity you have? Why bring about policies that will begin to demolish their homes in Lagos? And you say it's a policy. Yes. Now, the advice I give to the Igbo man, with all this that you know, for real, with all this that you know, it is time for you to start thinking. I am not telling you to leave Lagos because I don't prescribe that. You are Nigerians, you have right to live there. But economically, what the internet has done now is so great. You can sell anything on the internet. Relocate, build other offices in your own land. Yeah, maintain an office in Lagos, maintain an office in Kano, maintain an office in Sokoto, take a lot of your goods down to your place. Build warehouses in your places. Yes, build them, build warehouses. Store your goods there. If somebody comes and you don't immediately have it, you tell, okay, tomorrow we can get it for you. And then you take the order. He makes payment. Tomorrow you ship it to him. It will be like he got it in Lagos. So it now use sense. That's what technology has done in the 21st century. So that this envy will stop, this killing will stop. When Tinubu goes to East, he is celebrated and given chieftaincy title. They are crazy. Those are traditional rulers there. They are all corrupt, useless people and celebrated. Look at the Igbos hate. His speech in the market space. I understand that. I understand that. The Igbo man these days is not the Igbo man that we used to know. It's a corrupt Igbo man. The Igbo elites, they are very useless. I hear what Igbo Kwe had to say about Nnamdi Kanu. Yeah, because of envy. They know that he spoke the truth, and the truth is incontrovertible. The same thing they did Ojuku, they sabotage him during the when he was using his father's money to fight for them. So you will always find saboteurs. So my message is for the whole of Nigeria. Let us create a room. Let's end this heartache. Let us end the pain. We have destroyed one another for too long. We have presented ourselves for manipulation by people who don't care about Nigeria. They are non-Nigerians. They want to destroy Nigeria. That's all their mission is. I am talking about the Fulani elites. I am not saying the whole of Fulani people. Their elites are very wicked. They don't care about Nigeria. They care more about Saudi Arabia. Yes, because that's what they think. Yes. Stop and ponder. For real. Let us go back to the basics and build that one Nigeria with fair, equal, free, unlimited, and unconditional access to opportunity to all. That is the only way Nigeria can move forward. Let's not continue with this Nigeria where all of us are suspicious of one another. We cannot get anywhere with it. We will collapse as a country. And we are nearing that. But the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu is risky for Nigeria, for real. Very, very risky. Very, very risky for Nigeria. For Nigeria. And until it's released and justice is done, not just releasing him. Now you don't address the reason why he went there. He may not be the next one who will come. The next one who will come will be more dangerous. Yes, because now when they release him, they're going to give him conditions to fulfill. Well, nobody can give me any condition. I would prefer to die than you give me a condition to live as a second class citizen in Nigeria. I will not. I've already made up my mind. Nobody can subjugate me. Nobody can repress me. I am a Nigerian until there's no more Nigerian. And nobody will be a better or greater Nigerian than me. I am not aspiring to be an oppressor of the whole of Nigeria. Just give me my space, give me my respect, and give me my dignity. And don't close the door to access to opportunity to me, because I will fight, and that is exactly what Nnamdi Kanu did. Yeah. So when they release him, yeah, yeah, and you did not address the problem. Look to see, did they not say they ended the civil war, genocide. Okay, and they did not address it, address the problems that led to it in the first place. Now, what happened? Didn't Nnamdi Kanu not come up? So there will be more people who will continue to agitate until justice is done. It is in our hands and it is in our space to get it done. It doesn't cost us anything to tolerate one another. It doesn't cost us one penny to love one another. It doesn't cost us anything to be co-citizens of the same country. It doesn't take anything away from me to accommodate a Yoruba man, accommodate an Hausa man, accommodate a Fulani man. Like what I do, I support a lot of people in Nigeria. I don't even know them. I may not even meet many of them, but I'm still here. I don't come with hate when I meet you for the first time. But when you show me hate, I will let you know that you cannot do that to me. And that's exactly what it is. We can build that one country, but we must not build it at the expense of some people. We must not continue to subjugate the Hausa people and relegate the Igbo people and think that we have a country. The country will be most incomplete without the whole of Nigeria involved in it. And that is why we are asking that we renegotiate the future of Nigeria. Amalgamation treaty that was signed in 1914 expired in 2014. And I don't see any reason why the people of Nigeria cannot sit together to forge a new constitution that is all encompassing and that will have all the tribal nationalities in Nigeria and their signatures appended. It's as simple as that. That is what we are asking. We are not asking for so much. Yeah, if America can accommodate me, who was born outside America? Yes, I wasn't born here. I came here in 1996. Yes, I've worked here since 1996. Nobody has troubled me. No, truly, nobody has troubled me. It's not like there are no problems here. There are, but not as profound as they are in Nigeria. At least you have access to work. If you are here the way you should be here, you will be able to buy a house, contribute to the economy, make a living, and be the best you can. There's a lot of Nigerians who are here who would never have been anything in Nigeria. Yes, but when they come here, their story changes. Yes, their story changes. Or their stories change. Yes, when I've seen a mechanic, someone who was a mechanic in Nigeria, written off. He came here and became a medical doctor. Yes, because America provides you access to opportunity to be that better person. All you will need to do, dream it. If you can dream it, it can be done. If you can dream it and you can work, it can be done. I've seen many Nigerians, not just 10, not 20, hundreds of them, who came hopeless from Nigeria to become something here. They became a force here. They became professionals. They became lawyers. They became doctors. They became nurses. They became anything. Business people. Yeah. Nigerians written off. Nigerians who ought to be riding Okada in Nigeria because the country does not give us access to anything. Not because the opportunity, the things that will make Nigeria the greatest country on earth is not there. But it is trapped, hijacked for the benefit of a few people. So that's why we are asking. That is why I'm at the forefront of driving for open Nigeria. Yes, open Nigeria. If Nigeria is open to access to opportunity to everybody, Nigeria will be fine. All this tension will dissolve. And you will even know who is a Yoruba or an Igbo man. Like here, I don't even know who is anybody. Yes, unless you tell me. I work with people. I don't even ask them which countries they come from or what they are trying. I don't care what is important is that the work is done. And we go about getting the job done. And we are happy. Nobody harasses us. The only time we are getting shaken up is now since Donald Trump came to power here. When they started deporting a lot of people, those who they said didn't have papers and stuff like that. That's the only moment we have, with some of our boys and girls, shaky and stuff like that. Other than that, before now, no, nobody cares. Nobody troubles you. The only thing, don't trouble America. If you trouble America, America will trouble you back. And you don't want America's trouble. Yes, you don't want America's trouble for it. Stay away from trouble. If you're able to stay away from trouble while you are here, you good. For real. You are good. But when they shake you for no reason and you can prove yourself, you are good. Because I've been through that too. Yes, I went through 10 years of FBI investigation over terrorism. I'm not an Arab, I'm not a Muslim, I have nothing to do with terrorism. But that happened. It's a chapter in my life. I was investigated for 10 years. But at the end of nearly 10 years, I was given my green card. And they told me, well, we had to do this. We are sorry it took too long. But I came out stronger. And why am I doing what I'm doing in Nigeria and Africa? That is one of the reasons I am doing what I'm doing. I want Africa to be a better place. I want Nigeria to be a better place. So we don't have any reason to migrate, just for the purpose of going outside our country or continent. We can travel and enjoy places and then return home. We need to do that, and it's urgent. It's now, but leadership is required. We don't have that leadership, that can transform Nigeria, that can transform Africa. We don't have it yet. There's only a few. Ibrahim Traore leading the pack. We need more Ibrahim Traore. Those who dream, who sleep, who eat, who drink, and who think about Africa and Nigeria, everywhere they come from. Those are the only ones who can save that continent. Are you one of them? If you are, subscribe to our channel. Yes, join our membership. Share our message. Tell another person about ONN. And follow us on TikTok, on Facebook, and everywhere you see us. We are on multiple platforms doing this same thing. So every Saturday, we do this Nigeria Now and Global Matters Arising. Every Wednesday morning, we do Good Morning Africa. Yes, Good Morning Africa. Every Friday we do reggae at its best at ONN. I love reggae because I'm a Rasta man. Yeah, so join us every Friday night. It's always enjoyable. The day before yesterday was massive. And if you want, I can share the link. Once you sign up, go back and listen to. We have over 1,900 revolutionary messages right now on our channel. So that's how rich we are with messages of hope and liberation for Africa and the people of Africa. And our message, reach the world too, because we are a global movement. So be part of that, be part of our global movement that works for peace through justice and global stability and security. It's very important. I love you guys and I thank you for the time you took to be part of this broadcast. And I'm hoping that those in Nigeria will wake up and unite because one trouble for one man it should be all of our trouble. This young man was incarcerated, and we see terrorist bandits like Shekau, Bello Truji on the streets. Yes, killing people every day. Yes, massacring people, going to villages to sack them, imposing taxation, raping our women. One man who asked question. That's the only offense he has. He only asked, this Nigeria is not working. Let us make it work, or we leave. That's the only thing he did. But for those who didn't understand what Nnamdi Kanu's thing is, that asking for justice is the right of every citizen. That was all he asked for. He asked for justice. That was all. So whatever somebody else told you is a lie. He asked for justice. So why should he be in jail? And then a Fulani terrorist is raging in our streets every day. That is unfair. That is unjust. And that is unacceptable. If you are an elite of Nigeria, for real, you should be ashamed of yourself for your silence for all this period of time. Because you know what? It will come to you. It will come to everybody. The only thing we can do now is to preemptively stand up so we can put an end to this nonsense. Bye for now. I love you guys. And you guys take care. Bye-bye.